Welcome back to the Tap 2 podcast. I'm your host, Jonas Clark, and I have my wonderful, charismatic, empathetic, and glistening like a vampire in Forks, Washington co host, Stosh. Say hi, Stosh.
What's up, buddy? How are you? Episode 7.
I, I know, episode 7. I've been reading. They said they're never going to make it to episode 7. They don't have it in them. That's what people were saying about
That's what
us.
they were saying. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually it was going around. Stosh, I need to talk because today, like many days, we're getting into a world I kind of knew very little about. The subject matter we are discussing, I'm now locked in with. I went deep for this one, and I fear I'll never be the same. Stosh, this week I'd like to discuss something I've been obsessed with from an intellectual standpoint: MMORPGs.
Okay.
I don't
I'm listening.
I don't want I don't want to put you out on Front Street, but you've been deep in the MMO space recently. Is that correct?
I have been grinding World of Warcraft, possibly during the workday.
And I hate to say this. I see you on Discord. Your Discord status does show when you're playing World of Warcraft. And I'll be getting ready to like message him something about the pod, and then I'll be like, this fucker, it's 2 p.m.
I told
What
you
is
that
happening?
I told you that I like to work as an alchemist in World of Warcraft because we just yearn for jobs. So I got to clock in. My shift is up.
We have jobs. We have jobs. We don't need to yearn for them.
Yeah, but they're not crafting light mana potions.
You're right. You're right. And we're going to talk a lot about crafting light mana potions, what it means, what are MMORPGs for those who don't know, the culture behind them, the ones that are big in the space, the positives of them, the negatives of them, and we're going to come to some conclusions. Also, Stosh, I have a favor to ask you, and this is something I've been really, really begging for. Stosh, I've been playing this game recently, and we decided to name a podcast after it. It's called Magic the Gathering. And if we
Yeah.
don't get to talk about Magic the Gathering soon, I'm gonna drive up to Philadelphia and I'm gonna like burn your house down. So
Okay,
you
yeah.
really
Yeah.
so you really have two options. It's talk about Magic with me or I quit. Yeah, I'll walk.
Yeah. You signed a contract, buddy.
No, is that what that was?
In blood.
I was like, huh, my likeness. Sure, I'll sign these rights away.
Did you ask
new guy
me?
in mocap?
Did you did you ask me about did you say the vampire thing because you saw Emma's story this weekend about
I did see Emma's story this weekend about Stosh. For those who don't follow Stosh's girlfriend on Instagram, Stosh has recently watched Twilight. You watched the last one, or
I watched all of them. Dude,
You watched all of them?
in one weekend we watched Twilight at a friend's house as a bit.
Okay.
And then I was like, I've actually never seen the other 4. And she was like, well, you have to. It's a cultural phenomenon. Dude,
Yeah, she's right.
those movies are gas. The Twilight movies
about that
are gas.
How about that baseball scene? Am I right?
The baseball
When they're-
scene, incredible.
baseball
New Moon,
scene,
kind of
incredible.
ass. Jacob, weird.
Jacob goes from like I'm on his side to oh no, I'm not on his side.
Yeah, to like, whoa,
really
whoa, whoa,
fast.
what the fuck was that?
Hey. Also, I would, if my fiance comes up to me and she's like, I would like to name our child, if we have a boy, I'm naming our child, say her ex's name was Michael, Jamichael, I would actually, because her initial name, if it wasn't for Renesmee, which is the most bullshit name I've ever heard in my life,
So bad.
her first name was going to be Edward Jacob. I said, girl, if you don't shut the fuck up.
Yeah, no, that was like I recoiled. It has a lot of cringy moments, but dude, okay. Also, I know this is not what we're talking about today.
It's so fucked up because we're going to waste 10 minutes on this,
I
but let's
know.
go.
I am a Jasper stan. Emma was like, people are not fans of Jasper in the movie. And I was like, what do you mean, Jasper? Like, okay, sorry, he was a Confederate soldier. Yeah, that's not great. But also, yes, no, but he's a vampire. He's if we could take all.
What did he do to recover? He didn't pay any restitution. You were about to say like he made up for it. He didn't do. There's
taught
4
him how to
black people
fight.
in that.
It's all
There's 4 black people in that movie. There's 4 of them, and 2 of them is evil vampires. And the one brown
Yeah,
guy
but
who gets a lot of screen time.
Laurent.
allow me.
Yeah.
The same guy. I think about I think about the fucking dreadhead vampire who is the same guy who plays Darwin from X-Men First
Yes.
Class
Yeah, the guy who
all the
can't
time.
die.
We're not, please. We do not have time.
I want to
Oh
cover
my
the
goodness.
X-Men
Okay,
franchise at some point.
oh my god, please. Come in for next episode on the X-Men.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. What were you gonna
Um
say?
what I was going to say is let's get back to MMORPGs. And because we could spend an episode talking, and we might, talking about vampire media and Twilight and all of that stuff. Blah blah blah. Uh, Stosh, can I ask a question?
Of
Do
course.
you know what's MMO? What are MMORPGs? For
They
those at home.
are a cesspool of the internet. No, they are they are massive multiplayer online role-playing games.
Okay, and that, just a quick temperature check, Stosh. What amount of people goes from a multiplayer online game to a massively multiplayer online game? What number do you think that is?
Interesting. To consider it massive.
Yeah, to
I'm
consider it from like a online game to a massively multiplayer online game.
I'm gonna say a million concurrent users.
Well, here's the problem with that definition, Stas. It would knock out a majority of MMORPGs, right? Because if it has to be a certain amount of concurrent users, you can't make a new MMORPG, right? Because
Okay,
you
okay, yeah.
wouldn't get those people immediately.
Yeah.
Here, the difficulty with that definition and the term itself is that there is no exact like understanding of the terminology. We cannot define, these are qualitative terms that we are trying to ascribe quantitative analysis to. We cannot determine what is massively online, right? In the original games, when we started with the first kinds of MMORPGs, servers couldn't hold that many people at one time. So are we saying games like Neverwinter Nights, which is commonly like ascribed as the first MMORPG, not MMORPGs because they can only hold like 25 people on a server at a time? It's a very hard question to answer. The term was first coined by a dude named Richard Garriott. He was a game designer, son of a NASA guy, not really pertinent to our story, but I really want to discuss it because I find the term so nebulous. Essentially, during the rise and boom of the internet age, where computers were becoming more accessible and commonplace, society did kind of the two things it does with technological advances. We're not the kind of podcast that talks about the first thing society does anytime we have new technology. So I think we're going to talk about the games and the ways to spend money. That's what society also likes to do.
Sure.
It started with things called MUDs, which are like text-based, like essentially a big Discord server where everyone's like text-based gaming together. Have you ever played like one of those straight up text-only games?
Have I ever played any of those text-based games? Are you talking about like Oregon Trail, like that type of vibe?
Yeah. Kind of Oregon Traily. Like that would be more of a single player one. But I was
Yeah.
just curious, what is your history with like text based gaming? Because that is like the first initial wave of gaming that we see.
Honestly, like I don't think ever. I don't think I've ever played
Really?
like unless I'm just not sure what a text-based game is.
No. It's literally just you type in pick up sword into the thing, and you
Nah,
like they say
I've
guy
never
picks up
done any
sword.
of that.
Okay. Well, why don't we talk about stuff you have done? Right.
Okay. All right.
You've been playing a lot of WoW, right?
Yes, World of Warcraft.
Okay, great. Oh yeah, I apologize. For those who don't know, WoW is a shorthand for World of Warcraft, which is like the most popular, I would say, MMORPG of all time.
Sure.
Uh, do you know how popular it is? Do you know how many hours collectively have been spent in World of Warcraft
Oh,
by the entire player base?
oh my god, like billions. It has to be like billions of hours.
Stosh, I'm going to tell you this number. Collectively, as of 2024, 78 billion hours have been spent in WoW.
Damn. Damn,
Yeah.
all that in the basement. All that in a basement is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it's bonkers. And also, that's 2024, man. I didn't have the most recent numbers. I'm literally just going off what WoW said 2 years ago.
Yeah, that I mean it makes sense because Do you happen to know if that's specifically like the in-game time or like collect? Like, yeah, it must be, right? It has to be.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think it would have to be active time on a server. Otherwise, it's
crazy.
just like that's not how you do any other statistic ever.
That's like when you, yeah, yeah, true. That's like when you think about like the history. When I feel like I'm like playing a lot of WoW and
Mhm.
I'm wasting like the day away. It's like when you think of the dinosaurs and how long they were around, and we're like, human history is a blip, a fraction of a fraction of a
Yeah.
fraction. So I don't feel that bad. I really don't feel that bad about grinding World
Yeah.
of Warcraft
Hey,
because
hey.
I don't have a billion hours on World of Warcraft.
To be fair, no one has a billion hours on World of Warcraft.
But
Wait,
hey, I'm doing my
wait, buddy.
part. I'm doing my
I'm
part.
I'm conscripted into the World of Warcraft. Fight. So I'm trying to. Okay, we're gonna solve this age-old question. Where's all this time going, and is this time worth it? We're like recreation, right? Is not something to be frowned upon. We need to destigmatize things like relaxing, enjoying communal time with others, enjoying play. And so we're going to come together and we're going to figure out, should we hate this thing or love this thing? No in betweens. We don't run a podcast of subtlety.
Are you chill or are you not?
Are you chill or you ever been at a party and you're like, I don't fuck with this guy's vibe at all. This is what we're vibe checking this dude at the door.
Yeah, 100%. And I will say my vibe check radar is 100% accurate every time.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
I, I have
Not to
terrible
get into
vibe
it.
check radar.
Oh, I
Yeah,
like
get
I
into it.
clock. No, I can clock when somebody I can, this is evidence based, okay? Based on
Oh,
certain, when I've gone, I don't really
it's
fuck with that
science.
person. It's science.
Uh huh.
And I've been right. It may have taken a few years, but ultimately I was right.
Wait, if it takes a few years, that guy might not even be the same guy at that point.
No, it's who you are
It's
at your
within you.
core. It's who
Yeah,
you are
yeah,
at
yeah.
your core.
I, I'm clocking your spirit. I'm clocking your cursed energy, your key. I'm clocking all of it.
Yeah, I don't fuck with your soul, bro.
The shape. You ever met a dude who's the shape of his soul is off? Because that has happened to me at multiple times.
Okay, back to WoW.
Okay, okay. Let's talk positives. We're gonna start the conversation with positive talks about WoW. I think one of the most positive things that not MMORPGs tend to do is building online communities. There are multiple stories of people making lifelong and meaningful friendships in MMOs. I'm not talking like acquaintances. We've all have like, oh, this is a guy I boot up with every now and again. I'm talking about like deep seated friendships. I'm talking about like stuff like marriages, stuff like best men, like homies for life.
Yeah.
Do you got any? You got any like video game pals?
I honestly no, like people I've met online and just consistently like stayed friends with, because I don't think I played that drastically, but like
Hmm.
I have a cousin who's been playing WoW since vanilla or maybe TBC, but like
Oh wow.
has like IRL friends. Well, they transitioned to IRL friends
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they started hanging out and like visit each other. I got another buddy who, when Classic WoW dropped, they're like they took vacations, like their families went on vacations together and shit. It like brings people together in a
It
serious way.
it it really does. This tends to happen a lot more in deeper life sims, like stuff like Second Life, which is one of those games where you can really, for lack of a better term, build a second life within it. I really wish they weren't so on the nose with naming. It really makes me sound like a
Yeah.
fucking idiot. There's talks about like people who have had friendships that were could have had the chance to fizzle out or become acquaintanceships and breed into something deeper. I know you recently read the book recently, years probably at this point. Read Tomorrow,
I
which
did,
is
yeah.
yeah, a story about two friends who like connect through their love of gaming and eventually build something within themselves. I personally have some really like two great buddies of mine who, we were probably going to fall apart. We probably weren't going to kick it no more. And then all of a sudden we start playing video games together and now those are my dogs. Like we talk all the time.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah, definitely.
it does it does you met my boy redacted. You met my boy Joseph.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly.
I think the first thing
And,
that guy and I talked about was Super Smash Brothers. Like,
yeah, and that's the game we be playing.
that's
It,
awesome.
it's a good time. Another thing that I think we should also discuss when we in regards to the positives of MMORPGs is the sense of progress, right? Gaming can often grant a level of escapism, which is true of all games to an extent. I mean, I've been playing a lot of tennis recently. That's an IRL game, and when I'm on the court, I'm not thinking about life. I'm thinking forehand, backhand. I'm thinking Charlie's ass. I'm thinking a lot of things. But I'm think-
16-minute
and
Easter egg right there.
yeah, yeah. But I think MMOs tend to kind of crank that to 11. It's a really nice space to be like, I am doing an objective to reach a goal.
Yeah.
And the same way that we can once also model that into our real lives, right? Understanding an objective to goal to reward response scenario. Is that something that you've been kind of modeling? I really want to get in your head about this sort of thing.
I mean, it makes sense, right? If you think about it, life's
Mhm.
just one big MMORPG. We're
Oh,
just
yeah.
yeah, you know.
We're just
Except
massively multi-playing.
you don't get to customize what you look like at birth. That's probably like the biggest change.
You know what? I would have picked the same sliders, baby. I look in the mirror, I said, yum.
I would have gone with less male pattern baldness, but yeah.
Yeah, well, it adds character. It's like one of those you try to go any taller and it won't let you without clicking the male pattern baldness button. You're like,
Yeah.
all right, fine.
I
I'll be 6'1".
I'm 6'2", by the way. The 6'3" on a good day.
6'3" on a good day. 6'4" from mine.
We okay.
This episode is mostly us laughing.
It's just so stupid. It's so stupid. I
This
think
podcast?
no, it's just like what we laugh at. So dumb. I think yeah, I don't know, like MMOs. I think for me, like my take, yeah, like I'll use World
Yeah,
of
hit me.
Warcraft as the sort of example here, right?
I think we're kind of using that as because it's the most popular one, and it's because it's the one that like us as a group have the most understanding and history with. I think we're kind of modeling that as the baseline, and I also feels like a very safe baseline to model after because culturally it was the most significant MMO of our entire lifetimes.
Yeah, I would say most people have heard of it, even if they have like your mom has heard of World of Warcraft in some
absolutely.
degree. I would
Hey
say
man,
that
stop talking to my mom.
she's in the guild, bro. I don't know what to tell
She's a great shaman.
Yeah. I think it's just one of those things where it's like something we've talked about on the podcast before is like when you crave progression that theoretically can't end, right? You can't beat World of Warcraft. You can get to the highest level and you can partake in like some of the most difficult content, right? Like I believe World's First Race is still going on. If you know, you know. It's like I think it's one of those things, like you can't beat it. So you can log on every day and sort of habitually play it to just partake in the community. And depending on where you join in that timeline, like you'll always have something to do, right?
I'm a big dopamine hunter, and so I love beating a game. What's that drive for you to keep playing in a game that you know you like effectively can't beat?
I think it's progression. It's like
Is it progression?
it's well, it's tough, right? Because like everything has to plateau at some point.
Absolutely.
World of Warcraft definitely feels that way. People, like when an expansion comes out, hit the ground very hard and then they sort of plateau, and then it's kind of like you take these leaps and bounds in your progression, and then sort of you start to take one small step at a time. And that's kind of where, like, for lack of a better term, the boys are separated from the men, because it's like
absolutely
who can continue that grind, who can keep going. So it's just kind of like, it's kind of nice to just take those progressive steps. And also, like, I'm not somebody who's competing at the highest level, so I can I'm not plateauing as hard because I'm ass. Yeah.
Ass.
Yeah. Hey, look, I spent since Mist of Pandaria back in 2014 playing a warlock, so all I could do was the damage spec.
That's all you need.
I'm giving back to my community. I'm now playing a Vengeance Demon Hunter. So I tank and you're welcome.
Yeah. I'm actually I'm basically a first responder if you think about it.
Yeah. You've heard of Frontline Heroes. Okay, that's me. But yeah, I would say the progression.
It's firefighters, you. That's my
yeah.
fun with the sense of progress, right? The idea that you are increasing a spec, you are growing higher and higher. And I think a third thing, which actually does quite appeal to me, is the hundreds to thousands of hours of available content, i.e., the amount of bang you get for your buck, right? You can in theory proceed through these games putting minimum money, perhaps whatever the subscription fee is to these certain games, and just grind your way through. Just play different raids and bosses and enemies, and all you would have to do is pay your subscription cost. I think that is alluring for a lot of people because games are getting progressively. There are certain games that are getting shorter, and then there are certain games that are getting what feels to be unnecessarily drawn out. So the
Yeah.
idea of a game in which you can spend a long time but not feel like you're wasting your time is very attractive to some people, and I can respect that, right? How many? I don't have the number in front of me, but old school RuneScape has been going on for an incredible amount of time.
Yeah.
RuneScape is one of those classic MMORPGs. It's one of the ones where instead of like being very high fantasy, very like obviously it is a bit more of a how do I put it? It's very the graphics are a bit more muddled down. You spend a lot more time grinding out your abilities, stuff like if you want to fish, you're going to be out by the dock fishing your day away.
Yeah, like hours. For context, for anybody who doesn't know, it takes longer to go from like so max skill in any skill in RuneScape is level 99. To go from 92 to 99 takes longer to go than to go from 1 to 92. So that just to put that into context, like you are spending forever.
The part that confuses me is the diminishing returns. I feel like once I get to 92, I'm like, all right, I get it. I'm like,
Dude,
cool.
but there's like an economy for that. People sell that time and that service, and they also will sell accounts that are maxing everything for thousands of dollars. But I mean, you're probably right. It's probably not worth it, but still, you know?
I mean, yeah, I mean, who are we to define what is worth it? Sorry, I apologize. The entire idea of this episode is us defining what is worth it. But
yeah, is the grind
well,
worth the time?
is the grind worth the time? Episode 7. But here's the thing, right? If you're buying an account, what is the purpose of that? Do you come in as the best? What are you doing from there?
Yeah.
This is not exactly an MMORPG, but actually, I mean, it classifies as one in my opinion. Elon Musk recently got really called out because of. Do you remember? Did you hear about this Path of Exiles drama?
Oh
with
yeah,
Elon
yeah,
Musk?
yeah. That fucking
So
goon.
for those who don't know, Elon Musk is a really, 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 and then we're gonna cut here. Really, 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 really rich guy and a really big piece of shit. Maybe more reallys on the piece of shit than the big guys.
Yeah. We fucking hate that guy.
We fucking hate that guy. And he has made huge claims about him being I'm an incredible gamer. I was Trump. I can't do a Musk. I'm too actually black to do his South African accent. I haven't touched enough emerald mines to really make that joke land. But but Elon Musk was like, I'm an incredible gamer. I have maxed out accounts on this, that, and the third. And when he played online in this game called Path of Exile 2, when people saw him playing, they're like, oh my God, he's hot cross buns. He's like not good at this game at all. He doesn't know how to click his buttons the proper way. He doesn't know how to click around the map the proper way. And it was very clear that he botted his way or he paid other people to play for him to the point of his success.
I think he was
And it
like
makes you wonder.
online during like the inauguration. Wasn't that
Yeah,
like a whole thing too? Like his
I
account was online during the inauguration.
yeah, I think he was yeah, I think he was actively on camera while clearly not playing Path of
Yeah,
Exile
yeah.
2 while someone
Yeah,
was
he's a cornball.
taking. Yeah, and is that, I mean, hey, if you got all that money, but is that worth the enjoyment? Like, do people find enjoyment from just having those things? And is acquiring those things in itself worthy of playing this game? I mean, if these digital, I don't know, these digital trophies are examples of the hard work you put in, do you discredit that by just buying it? Well, what's your opinion on that? I'm really curious about that kind of instance.
I mean, yeah, if like you could buy like a fully like vanilla account from World of
Hmm.
Warcraft with everything on it, but then like you didn't I it definitely means something more when you have worked to get those things, because what I like about MMOs is a lot of those if a game like WoW has been around for, for Jesus, over 20 years, like
Hmm.
it's it's a sign, it's a badge of honor to whip something
Yeah.
out that your character has that is either no longer attainable or very difficult to attain, and people
Like
can usually
like birthday hats in RuneScape or whatever.
like basically, yeah, like, and people, I
Hmm.
mean, they can basically fact check that too. Like I would say it's worth it in that sense because it's just something that you have to show that you care deeply about this game. And I think that's
Yeah.
pretty cool because that's all it is. It means nothing. It's worth nothing. Maybe but it's worth like the memorable experiences you
Yeah.
have playing the game to get that thing. Um, I would say,
It,
I was going to say there's room. I think there's room for some like boosting, if you will. For example, like
mhm.
I played my warlock from level 1 to 90 the first time, and I
Mhm.
was like, to me, I don't get joy out of leveling in this game. I get joy out of the end game content, which you need
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
typically be max level for. So I did it once, I got the experience, I know that I don't love it. I'm going to like buy a boost so that the next character I want to play, I don't have to sit through that anymore.
And I assume by boost, you can just essentially pay, I don't know, $30 to Blizzard, and your character just comes out full level or what have you.
So I wish it
Or
was
is
that
this?
cheap, but it's more like $60.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, you
Emma, don't
basically
listen to this episode,
yeah,
please.
yeah. It's basically you pay $60, you go from 1 to 80, which right now is 10 levels under the max. So you do still have to like grind from 80 to 90,
Yeah, yeah,
but
fair.
I like to sit through 1 through 80. Like if you've done that once, not much has changed because often it pulls on content that's been around forever, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't want to kill those 8 rats or whatever you want me to kill
Yeah,
outside of the
yeah,
starting town. I don't
yeah.
need to do all of this.
But it is
Okay.
great for like the new learner, right? Like if you're
Yeah.
getting into an MMO, you should definitely go through that process to learn, because that's part of the leveling curve, to be like, "Oh, I understand how my character works because I've been playing them for 90 fucking levels." You know what I mean?
And I do know what you mean. I went undercover and I played World of Warcraft.
You did?
And let me tell you
And you didn't
and
tell me?
let me tell you what I found out.
Okay,
It's kind of
okay.
fun. It's all right.
All
It
right, all
seems like
right.
a fun
It's
time.
not for everybody. Not for everybody.
It seems like a good time. I don't know if it's for me, but I can see what people are getting out of it, right?
Yeah.
Also, maybe I just don't like killing wolves that much. Maybe that's my issue. Is I'm actually like spiders and wolves are chill with me. I think
See, that's the thing,
that's the
that
problem.
you got to go through that process. You got to learn how to hunt and all that, and then ultimately
Uh-huh.
when you're killing gods, you'll look back fondly on those times. It's the same thing with D&D. You're like the
Yeah.
farmers being ravaged by coyotes. And
Hmm.
then level 20 you're like, so the god of death looks you in the
Yeah.
face.
So the disembodied voice of time itself is
Yeah, yeah,
actually,
yeah.
and I think that's it. Honestly, though, that idea of progression and that idea of seeing your character grow, of like becoming connected, which is very similar to a D&D character, right? Becoming connected with this character and being like, I love Bizzlebop my gnome monk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love this freak, and I'm so happy that he gets to exist. You know,
Yeah.
and you feel a kinship with that character, and you want to help them grow and proceed and progress and all those good stuff. So I mean, there's that incremental progress, that bang for your buck, and I want to discuss more the cost of these MMORPGs because we touched on it a bit, and I'm not just talking about like the money of the MMORPGs. I'm talking about previously we have discussed microtransactions, and Stash, if we had a villain of our podcast, what do you think it would be?
Capitalism.
It's capitalism. Yes, sir.
it's
It is
ca-
capital.
it's capitalism. Yeah.
He's got it in one.
Yeah.
Because and MMORPGs, because of the way the space is built, they are designed to favor monopolies, right? These are games in which you are spending a lot of time in, so it doesn't give you the freedom to say, "Hey, I'm spending 100 hours in this game. I can double dip into this game." Essentially, there are very few MMORPG players who are like, "I'm playing 3 of these at a time,"
Yeah.
because it eats up all of your gaming time. I can't imagine what it would be like to play WoW and RuneScape and Final Fantasy 14 and fourth option, let's Star Trek Online. You know, all of these absorb a lot of time. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't
I did
even
my
know
re-
that was one.
I did my research. I could name 10 of them right now, but I won't because I don't have to prove anything to you. A lot of these games are being propped up by the idea of building stuff like microtransactions or things like you were talking about, which is passes that let you skip the grind. It's very hefty. Um, I also want to really talk about this is something that's a bit more sensitive. I want to talk about addiction.
Hmm.
I never thought I was going to be referencing the NIH on this show, but they did a further test of the impact of online gaming on psychological well-being and the role of play motivations and problematic use. For those who don't know, I used to work as a scientific researcher, so this is a weird crossover.
I'm always referencing
Sasha,
that study.
I saw
No.
your eyes go, what the? I saw your
I mean,
eyebrows.
I know addiction is real, but I didn't know they fucking looked at MMOs.
They looked specifically at MMOs and MOBAs and saw that like many of these video games often will thrive on addictive play models, essentially leading people into detrimental levels of playing this game. I don't
Oh.
know if you know it of anybody, but obviously it seems like you play a lot, but you don't play like a crazy amount. I have read about a lot of people, and I did some, article hunting and YouTubing about people who have spent essentially more time in these digital lives than they're spending in their real lives, which is, disconcerting to say the least.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no, I don't. I definitely have never felt that draw. Like, I've definitely felt the draw of, like, oh, I can't wait to play after work today, or I can't wait to
Yeah.
log on and do this thing. But I have never
You
once been like sacrificing my well being.
I get you. I get you. You seem like you have like a normal, like a healthy level of playing. It's a video game. I like to play it for fun, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like if we were talking about MMOs on the whole, I would be doing a disservice if not to mention those who do not. Uh, Obviously, we talked about repetitive grinding. By nature, these games kind of necessitate a layer of grime. Like, it's not a flaw, but more of a feature because you can't really build a massively expansive game without designing a game that's generally repetitive.
Sure.
Otherwise, you essentially burn through all your content if in one like week. If you could experience every single thing in that game without like grinding to level up, then like it kind of turns 1,000-hour game into 100-hour game or 80-hour game. Who knows?
Yeah.
And we already kind of touched on the topics of monopolization. And so I mean, personally, for those who are interested in MMORPGs, there's really some very interesting ones to try out. There's old school RuneScape, like we said, kind of like a cozy, cute vibe. WoW, active community, interesting character building. Final Fantasy 14, deep story, interactive gameplay. And I think at the end of kind of this discussion, I think MMOs are very cool in theory, but it's also hard for me because essentially the takeaway I keep finding is, man, these are really fun games to hop in for a little bit, play with your friends, and progress and build community. But I also am like, yeah, I'm doing that on Call of Duty. I'm doing that on I'm doing that on Smash Bros. I'm hopping in, progressing a little bit, getting a little bit better or a little bit worse, chit chatting with my buddies, and then hopping off. So, and I understand that these could be a very good fulcrum for them, but I think for me, I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze. Why don't you talk about what about you? How you feeling about the juice and the squeeze?
Man, I feel like I feel like there is a difference though to the type of community each of those
Mm-hmm.
games bring. Like, yes, it's
Mm-hmm.
very easy to hop on Call of Duty with your friends, spend a couple hours,
Mm-hmm.
and then like call it a night. But there's
Yeah.
something almost like a pseudo social attraction that people develop to like, I am me. I have
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
character, and my character partakes with other people's characters
Yeah.
in this massively built up world.
There's a social interlace that is designed into the game, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it is like, I mean, it's the whole thing of like, within the game itself, there's guilds, and your guild mates are like
Yeah.
the people you might team up with often. Um,
Hell yeah.
I mean, discords are made out of it. Like I said, like I have friends who have made friends online who then ultimately
Yeah.
spend real life time with, and they're like, that's going to be my best man. That's my buddy I've known since, you know, like,
And they become real pals too. Like there is something really beautiful to these connections.
I mean, yeah, there at a certain point you got to stop talking about the game, right? You got to start talking about like your life, or
Yeah,
like
what you up to
randomly
after this?
like randomly you're playing with people online and they're like, oh, my child, and you're like, what the fuck, you have kids? And they're like, yeah, man, I have 4, you know, like shit like that.
Yeah, no, it is so crazy because like you can only be a fake guy for so long before the real guy starts to kind of spill in. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
in-game requirements, like you show up. I just had it happen to me the other day. I was really excited to do the raid and WoW's expansion, and the raid leader was like, sorry, my kid got the flu and now we're all sick. And I'm like, God damn it. Like, I'm like,
Come on, Brandon.
I'm like
Wash your damn hands.
that fucking kid, you know?
Yeah, no, I get that. So I will say this. It seems like on this podcast, we don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze. So take away what you're going to take away with.
Everything in moderation. You are allowed to play a lot of video games, but you have to remember it's not everything. It's not everything.
Yeah.
You need to go outside. You need vitamin D. Like, you are allowed to like.
You have to live a well-rounded life. And I think
Yes.
that's the idea of a lot of times this game can feel like they're sucking you in. A lot of games feel like they're sucking you in. And you have to remember that with these hobbies in general, the importance of socializing, the importance of finding community, and we live in an age where people understand and appreciate others. And you have a space where people will appreciate you. And there's many spaces like that. So put yourself out there, enjoy some games, and you know what? Maybe the real role we should play is of a friend. Mm, mm.
You talked to me for 40 minutes, so you could say.
Yeah. Yeah, this whole episode was there's actually nothing on our call sheet. It's literally just one line, and I'm like, that shit gonna hit. That shit gonna... And speaking of friendship, I will end our friendship if we don't talk a little bit about Magic the Gathering. I swear to God, Stosh, I'll do it. I will,
Okay,
I will
okay.
burn this shit to the ground.
Are you
Stosh,
familiar? Hang on, because you mentioned a real world study. Are you familiar with the World of Warcraft pandemic?
no, what are you what?
Okay.
Like on Pandora?
No. So
I'm in my bag with that joke.
okay. So there is an incident. It's called the Corrupted Plague incident. This is like old lore. I did not play at this point. I'm sure somebody who played Classic. A year after the game,
plague.
a year after the game's release, okay, it's accumulated massive popularity. It's like one of the most coveted, highly recommended games in the MMO space. A year after the game's release, the month they published patch 1.7, so early 1.7, they released a raid called Zul'Gurub. I'm pronouncing it wrong, okay? It's a 20-player dungeon. It proved to be a modest challenge. I'm reading an article for it right now because you
Okay.
brought it up. Basically, there was a boss, Hakar the Soul Flare, who would
Oh, I
hit
know
in.
Hakar.
You know Hakar would hit individuals with corrupted blood
Yes, sir.
that would spread to other people. They
Yes,
found
sir.
out Blizzard's oversight in the code that hunters basically could get their pet infected and then dismiss the pet. And then when they brought the pet back, it would have corrupted blood. So they would summon the pet in like large cities where many players were and just spread the pandemic and like nuke the city because it would spread. And what was crazy is it would go to the NPCs that you could interact with. They wouldn't die, but they could themselves spread it. So they brought basically it's like bringing like,
Isn't that? Am I bugging? Is that not what happened to the fucking Lich King? Is that not? Isn't the whole story of like WoW that like town got sick and the vibes were bad?
but this is before Lich King. This is before that even happened. This is a year into the game. TBC, the Burning Crusade, didn't even come out yet. Their second expansion, or really their first expansion, but like the second iteration of the game hadn't even come out yet. There was a screenshot, and I'll throw it up here. Just everyone's skeleton in the city. They fully caused a pandemic in World of Warcraft, and Blizzard was like, "Damn, we should have caught that one. We should
have did some stuff about that, huh?
Yeah, but the reason I bring
Whoa.
that up is because it sparked epidemiologists to study how diseases are spread. So
Oh,
I
okay.
guess World of Warcraft's kind of the good guy in this one.
Yeah, World of Warcraft. Actually, did you know that germ theory was developed by a guy after playing World of
After he got
Warcraft?
smacked with corrupted plague.
Yeah, after Hakar really got to him or whatever. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, but that's another real life example. So
Man, that's very fun.
All right, let's talk Magic.
Oh fuck yes, please, let's go. Yeah, no, I just wanted to mention that we don't have a lot of time left, so I just wanted to get it off quick. I am so excited for Strixhaven. I've never been excited. So Magic the Gathering is dropping a whole new expansion that is based on wizardry schools. It's gonna be so sick. The cards look so cool. Have you been locked in?
Honestly, I've been kind of like avoiding spoilers for the most part.
Ooh.
I just
Ooh.
I haven't seen anything like besides some of the the commander precons, like some of the front facing commanders and a couple cards with like Miracle, the keyword, but I've kind of been like low key avoiding it. I did put an order in for a booster box from my LGS,
Nice.
so I will be
Nice,
trying
nice.
to crack for the fetches
Oh,
or for
of
the
course.
chase cards.
Great. I brought that all up just so I can say, tune in later when we talk about Strixhaven, which we won't be talking about on the episode. Find it on the TikTok, find it on the Instagram. And you can also find us there at Tap2Pod. Go ahead and smash the subscribe button, and we're gonna tap on out. I wanted to leave them wanting more. You gotta leave them a little bit more.